After the victim was run over by a car, police say the suspect then stabbed his estranged wife, all while their 3 kids were right there.
Neighbors telling us tonight that the husband did not live with them, that they never even saw him in the area. We also know that she recently launched a podcast where she spoke about the domestic abuse that she suffered with her estranged husband. The tire marks etched on the sidewalk near the corner of Parsons Boulevard and Franklin Avenue remain on the scene more than 24 hours after a mother of 3 was mowed down by her estranged husband.
This is an evil thing, especially to his wife and the mother of the children.
Police say 36-year-old Stephen Giraldo intentionally struck his wife with his vehicle, 41-year-old Sophia Giraldo, and then stabbed her, all while their 3 children, ages 6, 9, and 11, were in the car.
Her kids didn't deserve to see that, and they don't deserve that.
Surveillance video captured the disturbing and brutal moment. You can see the SUV parked on Parsons Boulevard across the street from Sophia's apartment. A few seconds later, you see Sophia walking over. As she gets closer, her husband steps on the gas and runs her over. We had to freeze the video because it is too graphic to show.
Oh my God, he crazy.
The husband, who was arrested at the scene, was arraigned this morning and charged with attempted murder, assault, and endangering the welfare of a child. According to the criminal complaint, the suspect allegedly told his children, quote, "Keep your seatbelt on," as he floored the SUV, barreling the car directly into their mother. After ramming into her, the car flipped on its side. He then allegedly crawled out of the passenger side window and stabbed her with a knife. Sophia was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Stephanie Reith is Sophia's neighbor.
There's a special place for people like that, and it is heartbreaking to know that he did that to her, because she is a very, very nice woman.
Stephen worked as an MTA bus driver. He was suspended without pay pending the outcome of this investigation. Sophia describes herself as a survivor of betrayal, trauma, and abuse in her podcast, which was recently launched back in October.
Being in a toxic relationship, I saw a lot of research on narcissism and abuse.
Please forgive me for this unspeakable, unfathomable, unimaginable hurt I've inflicted upon you. You've always meant the world to me, and the last thing I ever wanted to do was hurt you in any way, shape, or form. I will always love you. You will always have a special place in my heart. I pray for your recovery.
This man who struck his estranged wife with an SUV and then stabbed her in front of their children.
She survived but remains in a coma. Her family and friends spoke today in court. So too did the defendant. 37-year-old Stephen Giraldo was led into the courtroom in handcuffs and sat expressionless as his estranged wife's best friend and father addressed him.
There isn't much that I want to say to you that doesn't come straight from the pits of hell.
You attempted to murder me and my wife's daughter.
On December 27, 2022, Giraldo was seen on security camera footage outside Sophia Giraldo's Flushing home. Stephen Giraldo was in an SUV with their 3 young children, ages 6, 9, and 11. Prosecutors say when Sophia walked in front of the vehicle, Stephen told the children to keep your seatbelt on, then drove into Sophia. The car turned on its side. Prosecutors say Stephen climbed over one of the children to then go stab Sophia in the chest. Last month, he pleaded guilty to attempted murder. His attorney claims he was dealing with mental health issues. In court, he apologized to Sophia, her family, and children.
Please forgive me for this unspeakable, unfathomable, unimaginable hurt I've inflicted upon you.
But then he went on a rant about Sophia and forgiveness. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison with 5 years post-release supervision.
25 years or a lifetime in prison or even execution won't satisfy my personal desire for vengeance for what you did to my daughter.
The children will have to live through it, and they will grow up knowing that that happened their entire life.
Sophia suffered severe neurological damage, broken bones, and a stab wound that punctured her liver. She remains in a coma.
On the night before the incident, I took her out to karaoke. As you know, she's an amazing singer. The last song that she sang was "I Will Survive." And that's exactly what she's doing now.
me make my introductions.
I heard.
I'll turn the floor over to you. Councilman Governor, can you just spell your name for me?
I'd like to draw the court's attention to the 71031A notice where the defendant allegedly called 911 and stated, "I think I killed my wife." And then when the police arrived on body camera footage, he stated, "I hit my wife, arrest me." I'd like to tell the court a little bit about what happened in the early morning of December 27th at around 5:20 a.m. This defendant went to his estranged wife's apartment with their 3 children in the car. The 11-year-old Stephen Giraldo was sitting up front. His 2 younger children, Ian Giraldo and Manuel Giraldo, ages 6 and 9, were in the back seat. He parked across the street from where their mother resided, called their mother to come downstairs and get them. Prior to her coming downstairs, there was a garbage bag in the way of his car. He got out of the car, removed the garbage bag, and pushed it to the side. He then got back inside the car. When the mother came out, she crossed the street. She was walking towards the car on the passenger side, and as she approached, he accelerated and rammed into the car into her. She went over the fence. The car hit the wrought iron fence, which was knocked over. The car flipped on its side, on the driver's side, and at that point, the defendant was on the driver's side. His 11-year-old child was up in the air. The surveillance depicts then the defendant climbing over his 11-year-old child, getting out the door, coming over and going to where his estranged wife, the victim, Sophia Giraldo, was lying. He then allegedly stabbed her underneath her right breast, which I'm going to share with the court. I shared with counsel a photograph of her with the stab wound and a photo of her condition at the scene.
Council has a copy.
Counsel has a copy.
I do have copies.
After stabbing her, he walked along the side of the house where a knife was recovered later. He then went back to his children, got the children out. He then allegedly called 911 and said he thinks that he killed his wife. It appears that the children were not injured. The complainant's current state, though, is still critical. We have spoken to the hospital this morning, and they said that they still do not know if she is going to pull through. If she does pull through, they expect her to be severely neurologically incapacitated.
My client stands before the court with no prior record. This is his only arrest, to my knowledge, and he has worked for the past 11 years full-time for the MTA. I would ask that the court set some amount of bail so that if in fact he is able at some point to pull together the funds, he would be able to make bail on this matter. Okay.
And the officer may now take charge.
So go with the officer.
January 2026.
Let's do it. Yeah, I got the normal one.
Hi guys, I just wanted to share a little bit of what my experience was visiting Sophia today. It was really encouraging to me. I hope it's encouraging to you guys. Today when I went to visit Sophia, she was very alert, and I noticed that she was following folks with her eyes. It was much more focused than I've ever seen before. So much so that when Stephen went around to her bed, she was looking at him, and he said to me, "Titi Elizabeth, when is mom going to speak to us?" And as I was trying to find words to answer him, he said it again, even louder. And when he said it louder the second time, she started trying to speak. This is what the sound that she made. And she was just moving her mouth, making sounds, and looking at him. She then started trying to move her head towards him, trying to move her arms. And when she stopped, I decided to play one of the songs that her and I used to sing frequently in the car. And as the song was playing, she began again making noise. And this noise was not a sound that I've heard from her before. I've heard her make sounds, where I'm asking myself, that leave me asking, is she coughing? Is it a hiccup? Is she, I've heard her make brief sounds, but this sound was more of, well, I guess I could just imitate it for you guys, but it was more like, as if she was trying to put a sentence together. There was intonation, there was pitch, there was mouth movement, and it was very, very loud. And so it was so loud that the nurse came in to check on her, and the nurse said, "Oh, she's trying to talk again." And I looked at the nurse and I was like, "Talk again?" She said, "Yeah, she just started trying. She's just been starting to try to talk, but she gets frustrated sometimes because it's not coming out the way that she wants. But keep talking to her because she could hear you." And you guys, for the first time since December, I've not heard Sophia's voice until today. And it just had me in tears that entire visit, knowing that Sophia was trying to communicate with us and hearing her voice again for the first time in over 6 months. She also was kind of shimmying a little bit with her shoulders, moving her arms, like I said, moving her mouth, and focusing on us with her eyes. It was just such a beautiful visit today. Like I said, I hope you guys are encouraged by this because God is really doing awesome miracles.